Going to take those numbers across to Trip Chowdhury. He joins us on the phone line right now. Trip, you just heard my colleague Sunita Nagpal as well analyze the numbers. That coupled with the clarification on the probe, details of which also we are awaiting. But a big relief coming in, both the numbers as well as the clarification on the probe.
Yes, I think, as I've been saying for almost a year now, Infosys has turned the corner. The business fundamentals continue to improve, and they're executing very, very well. I think the guidance is very good. It is above what we were estimating. I think moving forward, at least next 4 to 5 years for Infosys is going to be very strong because there is a secular growth that is going to come into almost every major IT services company in India.
Right. Trip, so is that reason enough for the stock to be buoyant come Monday morning?
I think the stock will go up. As I've been saying, we cannot trade Infosys on a quarter-to-quarter basis. Infosys is getting a tailwind because today they have the capabilities and they have the workforce which is totally trained on the new skill sets, which include cloud, machine learning, and many others. So I think investors should start looking at Infosys from a completely new lens, which says that the past is over, the future is bright, they're executing very well, and today people are looking for competencies and capabilities that Infosys has in terms of IT services. So I think the stock, we have a price target of $14 on Infosys, and I think they will achieve that.
Amit, just taking from what Trip just said, it does seem to be somewhat of a comeback for Infi after a slightly disappointing set last time. We've kicked off earnings season with what seems to be very positive commentary on guidance going forward, a beat on the pat, and a clear slate when it comes to those whistleblower complaints. So what's your first take on Infi's numbers?
Yeah, obviously seeing the numbers, I think the numbers are mostly in line with our estimates. But as far as the guidance is concerned, they have increased the upper end of the guidance, and they have increased the lower end of the guidance, which was expected. So that is also in line. And if you see the trajectory in the business, obviously it's on the improving trajectory, and the damage that Infosys has seen in the last one quarter because of the allegations after receiving the clean chit, I think the valuation gap between Infosys and TCS will reduce.
Devang, what is your take, considering they've managed to up their revenue guidance by 10 to 10.5% as opposed to the previously envisaged 9 to 10%? Would you say that's impressive, that along with the clean sheet that they've got for the whistleblower complaints?
Yeah, the major thing was that the clean sheet that they got. Otherwise, the revenue guidance, the upper revision was expected because the way they have performed in Q1 and Q2, it was expected that they might up the guidance.
Okay. I just want to get in some more details on the numbers. And they've managed to add about 28 clients in the 100 million plus deal bracket, 61 clients in the 50 million plus deal bracket. They've maintained, of course, their FY20 operating margin guidance range of 21 to 23%. So net-net, you'd have to say that this is a decent performance. If Trip Chowdhury is still with us, Trip, would you be worried at all about the margin performance at all? Because that's just in line. So it seems like there will be some pressure perhaps going forward.
No, we should not be worried about the margins at all. As a matter of fact, investors should not even worried about the margins because Infosys is in investment mode. They are investing in growth. So I would not be worried about the margins. As a matter of fact, I would rather see the margins go down because the future only belongs to the companies who can invest in the businesses, in their people, and train them. So from a long-term growth perspective, a reduction in margins is positive because that leads to revenue growth because they are able to capture and improve their win rates against the competition.
Devang, let's get your view as well with regards to the margin picture and anything also you want to hear from the management, because we haven't seen any improvement due to cross-currency benefits or the like. Margins definitely in line or slightly still softer. What would you like to hear from the management on that?
See, in Q2, Q1, they had some investment. Going forward also, there was some investment left, which I think is now over. And probably FY21, we might see a better margin trajectory from Infosys, because most of their investment phase is now over. If they are able to control their attrition part, then their utilization will improve and their margins will also improve going forward. So that's something I think will turn out positively for Infosys in FY21.
Sudip Bandyopadhyay as well joins in the show right now. Sudip, hi, afternoon. Just looking at the performance, would you say that there is case enough for the valuation gap between TCS and Infy to actually reduce?
In fact, that trend, Aisha, has started for some time, and I think that is going to continue if Infy continues to perform the way it is performing now, and particularly this quarter's earning. And I believe digital revenue growth also has been quite decent at 40% plus, which is pretty good. So overall, I think they are moving in the right trajectory. And I won't be surprised if the valuation gap between TCS and Infosys starts narrowing down. I think it's quite a lot of ground which Infy needs to cover, but they are on the right trajectory. Also, I will like to hear from the management about the deal wins. Let's see what's happening as far as deal wins are concerned. That will give me some comfort regarding valuation gap narrowing down if I hear that the deal wins are progressing again in the right direction.
Sunita, a lot of commentary coming in thick and fast, on cash flow, on improved attrition. I haven't yet seen anything that's making us question these numbers. You've had a chance to go through them again in more detail. What else are you picking up?
As Sudip was talking about the deal wins that he will want to watch very closely, they have come at $1.8 billion this quarter. They are lower than what previous 2 quarters they have been. The run rate had been $2.7 to $2.8 billion. So this quarter, the deal wins have been lower. So commentary on that front will be watched very closely. It could possibly be that some deals could not close in the previous quarter and might flow into Q4. So the commentary on that front will be important, whether the run rate, what should be the run rate that we should assume, whether the first 2 quarters run rate should we take or this quarter. So that's something is the only thing that I see is slightly negative. Other than that, as you mentioned, most of the numbers are in line with expectation. Digital growth has been very, very strong. Digital revenues have grown at 41% year-on-year basis. Their margins have come at 21.9%, slightly lower than what we were expecting. But as Trip said, that lower margins could also mean the higher investments, which means that revenue growth can be faster in the coming years. So that is not very negative. Only thing is that we would need some clarity on why the deal wins at $1.8 billion this quarter. And other than that, everything seems to be more or less in line with expectations. Things seems to be moving in the right direction for Infosys.
Yeah, that really seems to be the case. In fact, the recent strength from the large wins is also going to keep the growth positive. That clearly seems to be an indication from the quarterly performance, better productivity. And remember, the rupee depreciation as well is perhaps going to drive the margins forward. Amit, purely in the light of the way the currency has been panning out of late, and who knows how much weaker the currency could go from here, all depends on how the geopolitical situation actually pans out. Do you think that we don't really need to worry much about the margins going forward?
Yeah, so as far as the margins are concerned, I think they are on an improving trajectory, and Infosys particularly, they have actually done the investments last year, and they have taken the hit on the margins. Now is the time that they are actually taking out the cost, and as the large deals ramp up, the benefits of that will start to appear on the margins, and when the large deals reach a steady state, then we'll see a much higher margin, and I think the 21 to 23% band is a decent operating margin to operate in, and we are somewhere in the middle. And also on the large deal signings, I think that $1.8 billion large deal signing is, not so great, but yeah, it's not bad also because the last 2 quarters were aberration because of the, some particular large deals. So 1.5 to 1.8 is the range that we're looking for.
Okay, fair enough. That's the kind of range that you're looking for there. Let's also get your view on that, Sudip, and on the deal flow that we've currently picked up.
Well, I think, as I was mentioning, the deal flow will be interesting to notice, and I understand that it's only $1.8 billion, which is comparatively lower vis-a-vis last couple of quarters. We need to understand what's exactly happening on that, so the management commentary will be awaited. Of course, one thing I must comment that I think the execution has significantly improved over the last few quarters as far as Infosys is concerned, and that's getting reflected in their results. Also, as I earlier mentioned, the digital revenue growth is quite heartening. We'll have to wait and watch the management commentary on BFSI and US business. Remember, this is going to be an election year in US, and during an election year, there are a whole lot of pulls and pushes. So we'll have to watch the management commentary on US business for the next fiscal and this calendar. Last but not the least, the cross currency would have definitely benefited the company's PAT this quarter. I'd like to hear the management's commentary on the currency benefit which they got during the quarter gone by.
Okay, we're still going to wait for that, and also on on the dividend payout and so on and so forth. We'll get a sense of how all those numbers stack up. Devang, any other closing comments given some of the other numbers that we've been talking about?
If you see the large deal, it is around 15% YOY growth. So it is a decent enough. Like in the previous quarters, we had Stater acquisition, which drove this large deal. So the large deal win is still in double digit, which is a good sign for Infosys. So, and the digital growth is also good, around 40%. So we see a good trajectory going forward for Infosys.
Right. Sudip, would you say that looking at the numbers, looking at the way the market is sort of tilted towards the defensive segments right now, does Infi make for a strong, compelling buy after these earnings and after the clean sheet handed out for the whistleblower complaints?
You're absolutely right. The whistleblower complaint had been an overhang on the counter, and the SAM report on that, I think, is pretty reassuring. And yes, you are absolutely right concerning the global uncertainties and domestic macro and challenges. Infi and some of the other IT companies may be a good place to hide during this period of turmoil.
Be too worried about the ongoing SEC probe, would you?
This definitely is a significant distraction and does concern the investors, and they get worried to a great extent. Yes, it's a matter of concern, but hopefully it will get resolved sooner than later.
Chowdhury on the phone line with us? Okay. Trip, the same question to you really. Any concerns with regards to the SEC probe?
See, I don't think, investors should be worried about the whistleblower complaints or SEC probes, because for any public company, it is just a part of doing a business at a global scale. Think about it. Infosys is operating in almost every country at a global scale with employees placed in multiple countries, in multiple companies, in multiple geographies. So the idea of Infosys is always to make sure that they are able to respond and act fast. Regarding the whistleblower complaints, it's a sad thing that happens, and I don't think this is the end. Almost every other company, look at Tesla, they had whistleblower complaints. It's a blip, maybe for a day or two, but the companies whose intent has always been good always overcome these negatives. And I think from an investor point of view, these probes are normal, and it should not be a part of any investment thesis.
Sure. Amit, your recommendation in the stock, and would you say that Infi is a buy or an add at this juncture, looking at how the quarterly performance has been?
Yeah, so we have a buy rating on Infi, and we have a target price of 850. So our thesis was same that once the overhang on the stock related to the whistleblower complaints goes away, then there is a clear case of re-rating. So obviously on the numbers we are seeing that all of the metrics are on the improving front, whereas for TCS we are seeing some signs of worry. So in that case, Infosys becomes a compelling buy, and we have a target price of 850 rupees.
Okay. So that's a buy that's coming in from Amit. Sudip, is it a buy for you as well at this level?
Yeah, absolutely. I think results are pretty good, and investors can look at buying Infi at current level. Remember, the progress will be slow from here on unless there is a major global turmoil. But the valuation gap between TCS and Infi will keep reducing if Infi continues in this trajectory.
Trip, what about you? And also just to bring up the digital side, that growth also seems to be quite striking, still up about 40% or so, and continuing to be a major driver for Infi, it seems.
I think Infosys is a very good company to invest in. It's not a company that we should trade on quarter-to-quarter basis. The tailwinds are very, very strong. And something which they have done very nicely is to do local hiring. Like in USA, they have opened offices in Austin, in Ohio, many other, I think even in Milwaukee, Minneapolis. So that is very important, having a local talent and a global network of professionals and very laser focus on executing, on providing IT services from wherever the talent is in the most cost-effective manner. This is the recipe for Infosys success, and that is the only reason why investors should own this stock, and they should own it for not a quarter, but for multiple years. We have a $14 price target of Infosys, and I think we are conservative. The stock goes even more higher than that over the next couple of years.
On that note, Trip Chowdhury, we'll let you go. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us today. Just awaiting some more details which were to be handed out on the whistleblower complaints, because the management had said that there will be a detailed note coming in just a short while from now. So just awaiting that. And soon we should be cutting across to the management as well and hearing out once they hold the press conference. I think we should be getting the live visuals coming in from Bangalore to short while. But let me quickly go across to Sunita as well and really sum up all the numbers. Okay, we will do that in just a bit. But those, of course, are the live visuals from the Infosys headquarters. And Nandan Nilekani, as we understand, is also going to be part of the press conference right now. I guess after the probe report, which was handed out on the whistleblower complaint, he would like to come out and make that address to the media as well. He just spoke as well a short while back, or at least, he gave that quote in the press release itself, and a very detailed one at that, wherein he has talked about the allegations regarding the revenue recognition of the 3 large deals, the joint ventures, which he says are completely unsubstantiated, and all allegations regarding personal matters of the CEO are without merit after that probe report was handed out. A very detailed comment also coming in from Mr. Nilekani, where he's saying that, our business is focused on delivering solutions for changing the world. For the last 38 years, the culture and values have remained constant. He said that we've been guided by a strong value system and a sense of larger purpose, and that our values have driven us to set high standards, behave ethically and with integrity as well, and to strive for excellence relentlessly. Infosys is a model of strong corporate governance, and the company's handling of these allegations, he says, from start to finish has been consistent with these high standards of governance. That, of course, you can see Nandan Nilekani, who's also, as we understand, is also going to be part of the press conference and address the media really on not just the quarterly performance, but how perhaps, a flavor of how he sees things panning out going forward from here. Maybe some clarity on the SEC probe as well. Who knows? Maybe something to that extent as well is something that we're going to hear out from him. But Devang, we understand that Nandan Nilekani, who's currently walking into the Infi media room, what would you like to hear from the management in terms of a commentary going forward from here?
Yeah, so we would like to see that what is the, they are in the Q4, normally we have the budgeting budgeting that takes place with of every company. So how their budget is going, so outlook on BFSI, European auto retail, and their attrition has come down. So now is that the new normal, or they are going to have lesser attrition going forward? And the future outlook on the large deal, whether this double-digit growth will continue over a period of time. That is what we are looking at.
All right, management just taking their seats there.